That night, the scent of jasmine filled the garden, mingling with the distant sound of the wind rustling the living room curtains. I watched the lights reflect on the marble floor and thought about how beautiful, yet empty, everything seemed. The house where I grew up, the same one that hosted so many dinners, laughs, and fights, now felt like a cold stage, as if it sensed what was coming. My father was quieter than usual, and my stepmother, always elegant and careful with appearances, wore that smile that never quite reached her eyes. As for me, I tried to keep my composure. I learned early on that in some families, showing emotion is like handing your enemy a weapon. My younger brother had just returned from a long business trip. He brought gifts, stories, and the confidence of someone who believes the world belongs to him. Everyone always saw him as the most talented, the most promising, the pride of the family. I, on the other hand, was the quiet daughter, the one who preferred silence to flattery. I worked hard, made a name for myself in real estate on my own, and yet nothing ever seemed enough for my father to look at me with the same sparkle he had when he spoke of my brother. I remember the conversation that changed everything. We were on the veranda as the sun set behind the hills. My father, with a distant gaze, said he was tired, that he no longer wanted to deal with paperwork and messes. In that moment, I felt him preparing the ground for something bigger, and my heart tightened. With his every word, I realized how carefully everything was being orchestrated. In the following days, I noticed small changes. The tone of conversations, the whispers in the hallways, the family lawyer visiting more frequently. It felt like a secret was growing within those walls, and everyone knew but me. Until one late afternoon, I found an unfinished conversation in my father's office. Papers about inheritance, properties, and one name highlighted: my brother's. A chill ran down my spine, but I took a deep breath. I had already learned never to act on impulse. That night, before dinner, I wasn't the submissive daughter anymore. I had built my own path, brick by brick, and if they tried to take away what I had earned, they would find a woman ready to fight. Silently, but intelligently, the dinner started like any other. My father cleared his throat, looked at all of us, and said he wanted to put things in order before it was too late. I felt my stomach churn, but I held my gaze firm. As he spoke about justice and reason, I noticed the satisfied gleam in my brother's eyes. My father explained he had decided to transfer the management of the mansion to him. "Your brother needs the house more, my daughter," he said calmly, as if he hadn't just pulled the rug out from under my feet. For a moment, the silence was so heavy that the wind outside sounded like a scream. I just looked up and nodded, like someone accepting the inevitable. But inside, a fire began to burn. That night, I went to my office and opened my laptop. The screen's light illuminated a face that no longer held sadness, only resolve. I opened the records of my real estate portfolio. 12 family properties, all under my control. My father might have forgotten, but a significant part of the assets still required my signature. If they wanted to erase me from the story, let them taste their own medicine. With steady hands, I started typing. One click, then another. As they slept peacefully, believing they had won, I was silently redesigning all of our fates. The next morning, the house was buzzing with the move. Trucks were parked outside, and my brother was giving orders like he already owned the world. I watched from the veranda, a coffee cup in hand and a slight, discreet smile on my face. My father walked past me without making eye contact. He said, "I hope one day you'll understand, daughter." I replied, "I already understand, Dad. More than you can imagine." When the last truck left, I went back to my office. One by one, the 12 family properties lit up on my screen. Houses that sustained their comfort, properties rented to good tenants who would now, by my decision, receive eviction notices. It was a cold, precise, almost surgical process. The news spread quickly. My brother was the first to call, his voice dripping with rage. "Are you crazy, Clara? "Are you going to leave the whole family on the street?" he yelled. I calmly replied, "The family that took the ground from under me will now learn to walk on their own." And I hung up. My father tried to appeal to a sentiment he never truly practiced, but it was too late. Everything was legal. At every attempt to talk, I kept the same serene tone. "Dad, you taught me that those who don't fight for what's theirs lose the right to complain. I just learned my lesson." My brother had to face life with his own two hands. My stepmother vanished from her social circles. As for me, I kept working, and slowly rediscovered the lightness of living without needing to prove anything. I sold the mansion. It didn't represent anything but memories. I used part of the money to open a shelter for women who, like me, were silenced by those who should have supported them most. I named it New Dawn. Today, I feel no resentment, only gratitude. Life taught me you don't always have to shout to win. Sometimes you just need to act in silence, with firmness and dignity. The true inheritance I gained was my freedom. Thanks for watching. If this story resonated with you, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share your thoughts in the comments below.